Let's make sure we've got two blocks, a blanket. The strap is optional if you want it near the end. I haven't planned anything with it, but if you want it, because I'll give you some free time, you can. Um, this week, I've been thinking about a couple of things. I recently watched Inside Out 2 with my niece and my nephew, and I found it interesting that specifically for me, I had to watch Inside Out 2 twice because the first time I watched it with the little people talked through the whole thing. And so like I missed key points and I was just like, wait, what is going on? Why is Riley having these emotions and these experiences? And so like I feel like I was missing things. The second time I watched it, I realized I am the character anxiety. That is how I've been living in my life as of late. I am the anxious character, specifically that scene at the end where you just see her going back and forth across the control panel, and there's just like this swirling thing going on, and then she's stuck, and Joy comes in and she's like, "You've got to let go," like blah, blah, blah. Um, Roberta wants to say something, I'm guessing. Oh, okay. So in any case, as I've been thinking about this, I've been noticing that like this idea to try to control things, to try to keep one safe has been very prevalent in my life. And like, I don't know what any of you, how any of you lean politically, but I could probably guess. But like that has been something that has been like stressing me out. And then like work stuff has been stressing me out. And then just like general life stuff. And I've just like been trying to be like that anxiety character, thinking ahead, thinking, oh, if I can only figure this out and plan A, B, C, D, blah, 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 I can keep Jessica safe. Like it's really bad. And keep everyone else safe too, because that's been the thought process. But then I started to notice, like last night, I was trying to get my niece to play this game with me. Like I have this book of brain games, and she wanted to play one with me, but none of them were really age appropriate. So I started breaking some of them down so that she could do it. And it was funny to watch how I took a game that I wanted for us to do together and started to just like, no, you have to do it this way. No, you have to do it this way. You have to do like the anxiety character came right in and was just doing it. I was like, oh. And so I just had to stop. And this is how I ended up with a bad tattoo on my hand. And like, it was just like, okay, I can't control this. If she and I are going to have a good time, I need to let the hell go. Like, I just have to let go and just follow what's going on. And so it became something that I thought we would play with. Like physically, the practice is going to be working with a lot of balancing poses. And I guess the invitation is to notice when you start to try to clinch on, control, grip everything. And when you can start to just soften into it. If you fall out of it, who cares? Like it's just part of the experience. And if you don't, well, that's great too. So we're going to work on that. To start, we are going to start standing. And so I'd like you to start at the top of your space. And we'll just start by bringing both of our blocks to the highest setting on the upper corners of our mat. Go ahead and move blanket off the mat. Go ahead and move the strap off the mat as well if you've got that. And the first thing that you will do is just stand with your feet comfortably hip distance apart. You might start by just rolling out your shoulders a little bit and seeing how that feels. You might roll out your wrists a little bit and see how that feels, but you're just taking a moment to just find yourself in this pose. And then once you do, you'll take just a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And maybe soften the gaze, close the eyes, and just take a moment to notice how you're responding in this moment. Is there any part of you trying to direct or control how we're going? Or can you just soften into this moment and let it unfold however it may unfold? On your next in breath, let's go ahead and sweep our arms up and over our head. Interlace your fingers at the webbing. Turn the heels of your hands up to the sky and then start to straighten your arms as much as you want to. Now, you might lift or take a little side bend to the right or a little side bend to the left as though you're reaching the heels of your hands up towards the sky. And just notice how that feels. We'll go ahead and gently release our hands. Let the arms circle down, maybe wrist circles with the wrist if you'd like. And then again, some shoulder circles and notice how that's feeling. Okay. And then we'll bring our hands to our hips and we'll just bend and straighten our legs a few times. So in dance, this is called a demi-plie. We're going to do a few of these a little later. And this is just starting to open up knees, ankles, and hips. Cool. Let's go ahead and bend both of our knees. Keep our hands on our hips And then see if you can lift just your right leg up and float on one leg, straighten the left leg as needed, and then take some ankle circles here. And again, not trying to control this. If the circles are great, great. If they're not great, that's fine too. And then just maybe reverse the direction. Okay. We'll go ahead and release that foot to the floor. Again, bend both knees, press into the right foot, float up with the left, whoa. And then again, maybe some ankle circles here. And again, just noticing how this feels. Switch directions if you haven't already. Nice. And we'll go ahead and bend both knees, plant both feet. This time, you're going to lift that right leg up. The right leg is going to cross behind you and over to the left. With your hands still on your hips, you're going to push your hips to the right, fan out through your right arm, reach the right arm up and overhead, and then see if you can drop your left ear towards the left shoulder. And we're trying to find this fun stretch happening from our left hip to our left shoulder. Nice. Maybe look down and release the head and see how that feels. And when you're ready, right arm sweeps up, comes back to the hip, and then plant the right foot next to the left and drop the arms and just notice if you notice anything between the sides. Fantastic. When we're ready to move on, hands come back to the hips, bend both knees, float the left leg up, and then the left leg will cross behind you over to the right. Press the hips over to the left, fan the left arm up and overhead, and then maybe see if you can drop your right ear closer to your right shoulder. And then you just notice what you notice. Maybe the head goes down, maybe the gaze goes up. Maybe you press out into your left heel or keep the left sole of the foot completely flexed. And when you're ready, left arm comes up, hand comes back to hip, and left foot comes next to right. Fantastic. And then just drop the arms, maybe shoulder circles again, but just notice how you're feeling now. Cool. Last thing, inhale, circle sweep your arms up and overhead. Interlace the hands, awkward opposite interlace, and the heels of the hands up towards the sky. And again, reach the heels of the hand up like you're maybe grabbing fruit off a tree or something of that nature. And then when you're ready, exhale, hands come down and back alongside your hips. Now you're going to just hold on to the backs of your legs and you'll inhale, lift your heart up, and then start to slide your hands down towards your feet, and your head will careen towards the floor. And once you find yourself down here, hands might come onto your blocks or hands might stay on the floor. But now you're going to do 3 of those little demi-pliés. So you'll bend and straighten your legs, letting your bum lower as low as it wishes to. And just notice how this is impacting your ankles, your knees, and your hips. See if the head can continue to drop the whole time. Yep. Fantastic. And then after you've done 3 of those, let's go ahead and come to stillness. You might want to walk your hands or blocks a couple of inches in front of your toes. And then you're going to start to press onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels up, and then lower your heels back down. Shift your weight back, peel the soles of your feet off the floor so toes are pulling up towards your knees. Lower the soles down, shift your weight forward, lift your heels up. And then lower the heels down and again, shift your weight back with the soles of the feet up. You've got one more of those, just rocking between what's called a releve. So you're coming onto the balls of your feet and then just a little heel stretch. There we go. Fantastic. The next time you lower the soles of your feet to the floor, I'd like you to see if you can keep the weight rooted onto the big toe mound, pinky toe mound, inner and outer edges of your heel. Notice how straight your legs wish to be at this moment, and then notice how heavy you can make your head. Fantastic. From here, let's go ahead and inhale, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, bend your knees and slowly roll all the way up the spine, bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra. Cool. Let's add on. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips. Uttanasana, forward fold. Once again, inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, straighten your legs. Shift your weight forward, lift your heels. Lower your soles of the feet down and then lift the soles of the feet up and away from the floor. Awesome sauce. From here, let's inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, see if you can shift the weight into your right leg and float your left leg parallel-ish to the floor. So in that standing split position, maybe hands on blocks or hands on floor, you might look back at your back toes and make sure they're pointing straight down, and then maybe reach your heart forward in opposition. Nice job. On your next exhale, you're going to slowly bend your right leg, your supporting leg, as you reach your left toes long and back to the floor behind you. Great. From here, wiggle walk your front foot, your right foot a little bit more to the right as you bring both hands to the inside edge of your front foot. Awesome. So now you're in this long, low lunge, and you might just start by rocking a little bit right to left, feeling how that feels. You might tone your tuchus a little bit and just feel how that feels. And then you might shift your weight forward and back a little bit and just feel how that feels. Nice job. As you're ready, you'll gently bend your back knee and step back to the top of your space. Once you're at the back of your or top of your space, just notice how you feel between the sides. And then again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees and slowly roll all the way up to stand. Cool. Awesome. Let's try the other side. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, fold forward at your hips. Uttanasana, forward fold. From here, bend your knees. Straighten your legs. Lift your heels. Lower your heels. Lift your toes. Lower your toes. Shift the weight over into your left foot, and then sweep your right leg back parallel-ish to the floor. And then you might just look back, make sure the toes are pointing straight down. And then we're going to start to bend our supporting leg, so our left leg, as you reach your right toes long and back. Once the right toes hit the ground, you'll bring both hands to the inside edge. Yep, nice control there. To the inside edge of your front leg. And again, you might shift a little bit right to left. You might tone your back butt cheek, cut your right butt cheek. You might shift your weight a little bit forward and back and just observe how that feels in the hips. Nice work. Go ahead and come to stillness. Bend the back leg, and you're going to step back to the top of your space. Awesome sauce. All right, from here, again, bend the knees and slowly roll up the spine, bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra. Cool. When you're standing vertical, you might turn to face the long edge of your mat. You can stay exactly as you are if you're okay with having your feet not on your sticky mat, but otherwise you might turn to face the long edge of your mat. And then you're just going to reach your arms up to make a giant X shape. Cool. Now from here, let's turn our toes out and our heels in. So we're in that star shape, X shape. And then I want you to take what we would call in dance a demi-plie or grand plie in second position, arms circle in front, and then straighten your legs and arms reach out. And we're going to do about 5 of these. So we're bending the knees, arms circle down, and then we're straightening the legs, arms reach back up. And you can make a circle, or you can just take your arms directly to what we would call first position. So that's where they're right in front of your chest. It's totally up to you. I like the little circling movement. Okay. I've got one more. Okay, the next time you bend your knees in your demi-plie, we're going to pause there. Your legs are going to stay bent, but now your arms are just going to move on their own. So I've got about 5 of these. Bending the knees, or keeping them bent rather, and just circling the arms. Two more. Last one. So next time your arms are in front of you, we're going to hold for 3. We're going to hold for 2. We're going to hold for 1. Straighten your legs, lower your arms, turn your toes into parallel, and then step your feet back together. Cool. Now this time we're going to step in the middle of our mat just because we've got a transition that'll be a little weird. From here, inhale, circle, sweep arms up and overhead. As you exhale, fold forward at your hips. Uttanasana, forward fold. Okay, so again, you're going to bend your knees. This time, keep your head super heavy and start to dive your knees forward to come to toe squat. Start to dive your knees forward to come to toe squat. Yep. And then lower your knees all the way down. Make sure your pinky toes are still tucked underneath you. Great. And then from here, reach your left arm up, bend your left elbow, grab your left elbow with your right hand. Press the left elbow to the left as you pull it to the right. And you might just stay here. You might reach your right arm up, right arm behind you, and maybe clasp. But you'll just take a few breath cycles here, noticing how you're doing right here and now. Where is there the desire to try to shape or make this be other than it is? When you're ready, if you've got the clasp, release the right hand, reach the left arm up, and then switch sides. So bend the right elbow, grab the right elbow with the left hand, press the right elbow to the right as you pull it to the left, and you might stay here finding that tricep stretch. You might reach up through the left arm might swim behind you and interlace the hands behind you, or maybe even grab a shirt. But you'll just pause and you'll breathe. You'll notice if you can soften any tension around your shoulders or your jaw. If you're holding on with the clasp, gently release. Left arm comes up, right arm comes up, both hands come down in front of you. Pitter patter your toes, having a happy little temper tantrum. And then we'll go ahead and shift our pelvis back to sit on our heels. And for today, we actually are gonna see if all of us can do this. We're gonna lift to both of our knees up. And then you might play with lowering one knee down and then lowering the other one down, just to feel what's happening on the arches of your feet. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and lower our knees back down. And you'll bring your hands back behind you with your fingertips facing to the right and to the left. I want you to pull your mat apart isometrically. Draw your shoulder blades together and lift your chest and heart up like the sun is kissing you. And hopefully we're finding a nice stretch across the front of our chest, a little bit of engagement and squeezing of the shoulder blades on the back body. Nice job. From there, let's gently release, come forward onto hands and knees. And at this point, if you'd like to pad with a blanket, by all means, please do that. Otherwise, stay as you are. And then we're going to find our cat, our sad non-California cows. So drop your belly and then drop your head and press down through the index fingers and thumbs. And we started playing with this last week, and I'd like us to return to that. I want you to start squeezing the muscles on your back body as you're here. So your head's still dropping, but see if you can squeeze around your kidneys and adrenals. So that's right below, I guess, your guts on your back body, or your stomach would be right behind that, and then squeeze between the shoulder blades and feel that muscular engagement on the back body. Now to counter that, you're going to slowly start to squeeze all the muscles of the front of your abdomen. So start curling the spine by contracting all the internal organs up and away from the floor, squeezing sternum to pubic bone to sternum. Let your head drop even more. And then start to release the engagement on the front body as you engage the back of the body and start to squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back, squeeze the kidney adrenal muscles together, squeeze the tailbone and the crown together to come to a cow shape. Yep. And then again, squeeze the muscles on the front of the body to return to a cat shape. And you've got 4 of these. And so we're really focused on engaging the muscle groups to flex the spine versus using the arms to flex the spine. So rather using the muscles of the core to flex the spine versus the arms to flex the spine. Yeah, and you've got one more on your own, and you're just feeling how this feels rolling through the spine. So we rolled up a couple of times, but how does it feel now that you're intentionally engaging the muscles? Cool. The next time you come to your cow shape, let's pause there. Curl both sets of toes under, and then start to press your pelvis up and back towards downward facing dog. Now, keeping your knees bent, first take a little plie with your knees and then straighten your legs and shift your pelvis up and feel how that feels. And then rise to the balls of your feet. Notice what that does to your shoulders, and then lower your heels down, and then see if you can pick your toes up away from the floor and notice what that does to the backs of the legs. Nice job. Next, in breath, let's come forward into plank pose. Pause here. Now I want you to shift forward and back through by reaching through your heels, reaching forward through your heart. And you just got about 3 or 4 of those. Starting to, again, engage the abdominal organs away from the floor. And then as you're ready, shift your weight forward and lower all the way down. Fantastic. Once you get down to the floor, extend the tops of your feet onto the mat, and then isometrically pull the hands back, draw the pubic bone towards the sternum, engage the back of your body to lift your shoulders, neck, and chest up and away from the floor, cobra pose. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Engaging the stomach and the back body, press down into the hands, come up to hands and knees. Awesome. And then we'll walk your hands in just a little bit. Now for this time, I want you to press evenly through both of your hands. You're going to shift your left knee over to the left and lift the left knee hip height, and then lower the left knee back to meet the right. So we've got about 5 of these little weird clamshell things of opening the left knee to the left and closing it back in. And again, just like we did in our cats and cows, I want you to engage the front of your body and the back of your body evenly. So there's a slight tone of the abdomen as you lift the leg, but there's also a slight tone of the back body as you lift the leg, so we don't overextend the back. And there's also this squeezing of the left hip. Fantastic. The next time your left leg is to the left, let's stay there. Hug the left hip in. See if you can lift the left knee a little higher. And then exhale, lower the left leg down. Shift your weight, and we're going to try it on the other side. So the right leg will float out to the right knee height. And then it'll come back down. And we've got 5 of these. And we're just finding a 90-degree angle in the hip and the knee. You're noticing if you are able to keep the weight evenly distributed between both hands. And you're noticing if you can engage the front body and the back body evenly. Nice work. Okay, this should be our last one. And we'll go ahead and hold the leg out there for just a couple of breaths. Nice work. Go ahead and lower the leg down. Fantastic. From here, inhale, come up to that cow-shaped pose. And then exhale, press yourself back to a downward facing dog. And then again, just notice how it feels here, really pressing the hands down and forward, lifting the hips up and back. Cool. Go ahead and start to walk your feet just 1 footprint forward, and then walk your hands back to your feet. Then bend your knees and slowly roll up, bone by bone by bone. Okay. Cool. All right. Come to stand at the top of your space, and we're going to try our first sequence, trying to add a lot of those things together. So inhale, circle, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Again, bend your knees, straighten your legs, press to the balls of your feet, lift your heels, lower your heels, shift your weight back, lift the balls of your feet. Lower the feet down, inhale, halfway lift, shift your weight over to your right leg, float your left leg parallel-ish to the floor. Now see if you can tone the belly just a little bit, make your fingertips a little bit lighter. On your next exhale, look back towards your back toes, bend your right leg, reach the left toes all the way down to the floor. Wiggle walk your right foot out to the right. Again, you might shift a little bit right to left, really pressing right shoulder into right knee into right shoulder, hugging left glute in, and then shift a little bit forward, front to back. Great. Go ahead and come to stillness. Step your front foot back to meet your back foot in downward facing dog. Bend both knees. Straighten both legs. Lift both heels. Lower both heels and lift the balls of your feet. Inhale, roll your spine forward into plank pose. Shift forward and back 3 times. Lightly hug the glutes in towards your midline. The next time you come forward, lower all the way down through chaturanga. As you inhale, pull the heart and sternum forward and through. Engage the back body, engage the front body, cobra pose. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, hands and knees. Cool. Walk your knees forward. This time, we're going to go ahead and bend our right knee close to our right hip, or sorry, right heel close to our right hip, and then lift your right thigh parallel to the floor. And you've got 5 of these. And you're squeezing your hip. Again, you're drawing the front body in to meet the back body in to meet the front body. So we're engaging front and back of torso evenly. And after you've lifted that right leg 5 times, keep the right leg lifted, and then open the right knee out to the right and bring it back behind you. So we're adding on to what we previously did. Okay. Got 3 more. Awesome sauce. The next time your right leg goes to the right, we're just going to do that clamshell thing. So hold it there for 3, hold it there for 2, hold it there for 1. Lower the right leg to meet the left. And then switch sides. Draw your left heel close to your left glute, and then lift your left thigh parallel to the floor and lower the knee down. We've got 5 of those. And again, you're just seeing if you can keep the front body and the back body and the torso really engaged as you're squeezing your heel to your glute, maybe feeling a little trembling on the back of your left leg. Okay. The next time that leg lifts, keep it there, and then you'll open it out to the left 5 times. Left, and then back behind you, and left, and back behind you. Yep. And notice if you're dipping weight into that right hand, can you keep the weight equally distributed? The next time the left leg comes out to the left, we'll hold it there for 3, for 2, for 1. Lower down. Inhale, come into your cow shape. And then exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So this is where the mind aspect comes in. We're going to see if we can keep reversing sides. So you might walk your left foot a little bit towards the right. You'll inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind you for 3-legged dog. And just notice how that feels. And then as you exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Great. Shift your weight forward. Float your left leg parallel to the floor. Yep. And then you're going to draw your knee towards your nose towards your knee. Plant that left foot next to the right. You might then inhale, halfway lift, find that length through your vertebra. And then exhale, fold in, bend your knees, and slowly roll up the spine, bone by bone by bone. Cool. When you come up to stand this time, we'll go ahead and bring our hands to our hips, shift the weight to our right leg, float your left leg up, and then slide your hands across the front of your left shin. See how close to your chest you can pull your left leg, and then see if you can let go of your hands. Yeah. Okay, lower down. Try the other side. Shift the weight to your left leg, float your right leg up. Hands come to the front of your right shin. See how, whoa, I'm going to fall, how close you can pull that knee towards your armpit. And see if you can let go. Yep, lower down. Cool. Yeah, good job, people. All right, back to the top of the space. We got to do the other side. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Again, bend your knees, straighten your legs, lift your heels, lower your heels, lift the balls of your feet, lower the balls of your feet. Inhale, lift your spine parallel-ish to the floor. Shift the weight into your left leg and then float your right leg parallel to the floor back behind you. Yeah. You might see if you can make your fingers a little bit lighter by engaging your core and maybe pushing down more through your left leg. Look back at your right toes. Start to bend your left knee and reach your right toes as far back as you can. Great. Plant the foot and then bring the hands to the inside edge of your front leg. Again, you'll press the left knee into left shoulder. You might just shift a little bit right to left. You might engage your right glute to find more of a stretch on the front of your right thigh. And then you might pulse forward and back. Again, just seeing what that's feeling like in your body. Cool. Let's go ahead and come to stillness. Step your front foot, left foot back to meet your right foot. Take a moment to pause there. Just as we did before, bend both knees, straighten both legs, lift both heels, lower both heels. See if you can lift the balls of your feet. Inhale, roll your spine forward into plank pose. And then again, shift forward and back 3 times. Like a little squeeze of tuchus, pulling all the core muscles away from the floor. Awesome. After you've done 3, shift your weight forward and lower all the way down through chaturanga. Now, again, coming into cobra. So pulling pubic bone to sternum, engaging the back body, the glutes as much as you need to, pressing toes down, pulling heart forward and up. Nice work. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Engage the core, push down into the hands, come up to hands and knees. Okay. So this one, you might need to walk your hands back a little bit or your knees forward, depending upon your proportions. And then you're going to send your right leg back. And we're just going to float our right leg parallel-ish to the floor. Again, see if you can engage the core muscles a little bit, like you're trying to do that cat pose on the front. And then see if you can engage some of the back body, like you're doing your sad California cow, but lifting your head parallel to the floor. Now, since your right leg is back, you might shift more weight into your right hand and reach your left arm forward. And you'll pause and you'll breathe and you'll pause and you'll breathe. Yep. And then very gently lower the hand and lower the leg. Switch sides. So extend your left leg back. Float your left leg parallel-ish to the floor. Again, engage the front of your body and the back of your body evenly. You might shift more weight into your left hand to float your right arm forward and parallel to the floor. Yeah, nice job. And then when you're ready, gently lower your hand, gently lower your knee. Inhale, come into your cow shape pose, engaging the back of the body. Curl both sets of toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now, this time, you're going to walk your right foot a little bit more towards the left, and then inhale, sweep your left leg up and back for your 3-legged dog. Nice. Go ahead and bend the knee, step the left foot between your hands. Fantastic. Shift your weight forward, hands to blocks or floor. Float your right leg parallel-ish to the floor. Fantastic. Start to maybe lift your chest a little bit, and then you're going to curl your knee to your nose to your knee. Plant the right foot next to the left. Inhale, reach your heart and sternum forward and through, and then exhale, fold in. Bend your knees and slowly roll up the spine bone by bone. When you come up to stand, maybe take a moment to circle the shoulders, drop the gaze, and just notice how you feel here. Cool. All right, let's add on. So shifting your hands to your hips, shifting your weight to your right leg, you'll float your your right knee up and see how close you can get it towards the chest. We're going to lower that down. Shift the weight, lift the other leg up, so your left leg up. Okay, lower it down. Back to your right side, so right leg lifts. Now your right leg, you're going to thread it back behind you to come into warrior 2. Yeah, fantastic. Okay. And then with your spine your rib cage sort of facing now towards the long edge of your mat, make sure your front foot and back foot are as far apart as you need them front to back and wide apart right to left. And then extend both arms out into your warrior 2. Cool. Now from here, you're going to just go ahead and lower your front elbow onto your arm. Our back arm, we're going to take 3 circles. So it's going to come down to the floor in front of us, up and over our head, back behind us, and back towards our back leg. And you're just imagining that you're moving through mud or something so that you've got a little bit of resistance. Your gaze can follow the movement of your hand if that feels nice to you. And after you've done 3, you'll switch the direction of your circle. So now the hand will come down in front and then reach back and up. And we're just noticing how this is feeling in the body, how we're allowing the rib cage to move however it wishes to move. The next time your circling arm sweeps back, you return to warrior two. Nice job. Go ahead and straighten your front leg long. Turn both feet parallel to the short edge of your mat. Now, coming back to that shape we did before, arms reach up, giant X, heart lifts, and then exhale, start to fold forward, bringing your hands to the floor underneath your shoulders. Cool. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, keep your chest here, but bend your knees like a weird football player move, and just notice how that feels. And then go ahead and straighten both legs, lower your head towards the floor. Cool. Now, keep your hands as they are, bend your back knee. So for most of us, that's our right leg. Press onto the pinky toe edge of your front foot, so that's your left foot, and feel a nice, fun something happening on the inside edge of your left leg. And then straighten your back leg, and then we'll shift sides. So bend your front leg, press the pinky toe edge of your right foot into the floor, and feel what you feel on this side. Now, you're going to turn to face the top of your mat, coming to a low lunge. So theoretically, we should still have our left leg forward. Fantastic. Bring both hands to the inside edge of our left foot. And then go ahead and step yourself back to downward facing dog. Again, in downward facing dog, you'll bend both knees and then straighten both legs. Lift the balls, or lift both heels and lower both heels, and then lift the balls of your feet and lower the balls of your feet. From there, inhale, roll your spine forward into plank. Shift your weight forward, lower through chaturanga, and come up to your version of cobra, seeing if maybe you can find a little bit more height as you find engagement in the back body. Nice job. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale back to hands and knees. Cool. And then we're going to add a variation to what we did before. So again, you'll start by extending this time your left leg back, lifting it parallel to the floor. Now we're going to keep both hands on the floor this time as you engage the front body, engage the back body evenly, and you're going to open your left leg a couple inches to the left and then draw it back behind you. Some of you might externally rotate the left toes to the left if that helps you engage your outer hip glute muscles. Some of you will keep the leg parallel. Just depends on how you can feel the activation of your butt as you're opening your left leg to the left. Awesome. And then the next time the left leg goes to the left, we'll pause there, make sure the weight is evenly distributed into both hands, and then draw the leg back to center and lower the knee down. Let's try the other side. So float your right leg back parallel to the floor, engage the front body and back body evenly, and then we'll start to open the right leg to the right and draw it back. And again, you might externally rotate the right thigh so it engages more of your glute muscles. You might just be doing the outer hip. It depends on whether you need glute med or glute min for you to fire. So you choose that for you. Okay, I got one more. The next time the right leg comes to the right, we'll pause there, make sure the weight's evenly distributed into the hands, and then draw the leg back to center, lower the knee down. Inhale, come into your cow shape, and then exhale back to your downward facing dog. And just take a moment to pause, and you'll take a moment to breathe. Walk your right foot a little bit closer towards your left. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. And then exhale, step your foot between your hands. Now we're going to pause here. I want you to make sure that you have enough foundation that you can push into your front foot, push into your back foot, roll your spine up to high crescent lunge. So this isn't a shape we've been in yet. Yep. And then arms reach up and overhead. Cool. And then you just pause and you notice what you notice. How does this feel? Cool. Next exhale, hands are going to reach out and come down to the floor. You're going to shift your weight forward and come back to your warrior three prep pose. So back leg lifted parallel-ish to the floor, right leg lifted. Cool. Now here's the fun thing that we've been working up to. You're going to draw your knee to your nose. So right knee to nose as you come up to stand. Maybe hands come to the front of the right shin. Maybe they don't. All the way up to stand. Yeah! Wobbling's fantastic. Okay. And then maybe you pull the knee a little closer. Maybe you're like, look, Ma, no hands. And then when you're ready, lower it down. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to try all of that on the other side. So hands back to hips. First start by just lifting your left leg. Yep. Now we lower it down. Lift your right leg. Yep. We lower it down. Lift your left leg. And then you're going to thread your left leg back and find yourself into warrior two. Cool. And then you just notice what you notice. How do you need to adjust your body so that you can be equally distant in this shape? And then when we're ready, we're going to reach our right arm forward, lowering the right forearm to the thigh, and start to circle our left arm down, forward, up, and back. And you've got 3 of these. And you're moving as though you're moving through mud, or maybe marshmallows, maybe not solid marshmallows, maybe melted marshmallows, like when you're making Rice Krispie treats or something. And after you've done 3 circles with your arm, you switch the direction. Maybe this time you're maybe moving through caramel. That's a little bit more sticky. Okay, the next time your circling arm sweeps back, you return to Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Yep. Go ahead and straighten your front leg. Turn both feet parallel to the short edge of your mat. Again, find your star shape, both arms reach up. And then exhale, we're going to fold forward. Hands come down underneath your shoulders. Again, you'll inhale and halfway lift. Keep your spine there. Bend your knees. Happy little football player. And then go ahead and straighten your legs. Lower your head down. So this one is going to be weird. You will walk your hands towards your back foot. So for most of us, that should be our left leg. Now, with your left hand, I want you to isometrically pull it towards your right foot and then push your right hand away from you isometrically as you bend your right knee, as you drop your head in between your arms, and you find this crazy stretch happening across your shoulder joint. So your left hand is pulling back, your right hand is pushing forward, you're bending your right knee. And it feels like you're bowing your right ribs. Cool. Very gently release that, come back through center. Walk your hands to the front foot. So for most of us, that should be our right foot. Great. Now from here, you're going to pull back isometrically with your right hand as you push down and forward with your left hand, as you bend your left knee and sort of bow your left ribs. Nice work. All right. Turn to face the front of your mat, low lunge. And then go ahead and step yourself back, downward facing dog. Again, bend both knees in down dog. And straighten both legs. Lift both heels away from the floor. Lower both heels towards the floor. And then if you can, lift both balls of the feet away from the floor. Great. From there, inhale, come forward into plank pose. Push forward onto your feet, shifting forward through chaturanga. Come into cobra or up dog, your choice. But again, you just take a few breaths and you notice what that feels like. Awesome sauce. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, hands and knees once again. Now this time we're coming back to the very beginning. So I just want you to be in hands and knees and just squeeze all the muscles on your front body to round your spine as much as you can into your cat pose. And then as you keep squeezing, notice that at some point you want to do the opposite action. So you'll start to release the front body as you start to squeeze the back body and then lift into your cat cow shape. And you just got 4 of these. And we're just really trying to tone the abdomen, feeling how all that helps us. And then release the abdomen as you tone the back body. One more set on your own, just slowly moving through that, feeling how that's helping lubricate things. Cool. The next time you come into your cow shape, you'll pause there. Curl both sets of toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Okay. Now from here, you'll walk your left foot a little bit towards your right foot. And then inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. As you exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Now make sure your feet are far enough apart from you, right to left, front to back. Start to push into your front foot, back foot, round the spine up to come up to high crescent lunge. Nice job, guys. Yep. Both arms up, and you just pause and you breathe and you notice how this is working this time. Sometimes I think in order for me to let go, I have to be able to trust that I can do whatever the thing is. And I think that was what was weird about the anxious movie. Or Inside Out, she didn't trust, or I don't know if she's a she. Anywho, exhale, both hands come back down. We'll shift our weight forward, float our back leg up. So that's our left leg. Awesome sauce. From here, you might hover the hands for a brief second as you round your knee to your nose and start to roll up the spine. Left leg coming into the chest, maybe hands clasping on the front. Fantastic as we wobble up. And we pause and we breathe. Nice job. Gently release that. Cool. All right. And then just take a moment to soften your gaze. Close your eyes. If you want to wiggle around in any way, by all means, do that. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and try one more thing and see how this goes. So we're going to shift our weight over to our left leg and float our right leg up again. Some of you might bring your hand to the inside edge of your right leg to grab the outside edge of your right foot, and then lift our right foot parallel-ish to the floor, just like we're still in that low lunge. So this is that same shape we did on the floor. You might reach your left arm out for counterbalance as you maybe open your right leg just a few inches to the right. It's not massive. The right knee is super duper bent, just like we're in a low lunge. Fantastic. Go ahead and come back through center. Release the foot, release the arms, come down. Nice job, guys. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So shift the weight to the right leg, float the left leg up. Left hand comes to the inside edge of left leg, grabs the outside edge of left foot, lift left foot roughly parallel to the floor. Maybe you reach your right arm out. Mine's kind of more on a diagonal as I open my left leg out. So it feels like I'm actually making a V and not like splayed. It's more of a V. Yep. And then when you're ready, draw the leg back, release the leg, release the hands, release the foot. Cool. All right. How'd that go? Can we add on? Good. Okay. All right, let's stand at the top of our mat. For this one, I would encourage you to have both of your blocks readily available in case if you want and or need them, but that's totally up to you. Cool. Now let's go ahead and inhale, circle, sweep our arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at our hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, straighten your legs, lift your heels, lower your heels, lift the balls of your feet, lower the balls of your feet. Okay, now inhale, halfway lift here. We're going to see if we can shift again all the way to our right leg, float our left leg parallel to the floor. This time we're going to see if we can hover our hands a few inches up and away from the floor. And we're going to start to bend into our supporting leg. So that's our right leg as we reach our left toes back and then come up into high crescent lunge from that standpoint. Whoa, hooray, we did it. Fantastic. And you'll just take a few breaths here, really pushing in your back foot, pushing your front foot, lifting up through your fingertips. On your next exhale, hands sweep out. They come down to the floor. Now here's something slightly new. We're gonna, well, not yet. Wiggle walk your right foot to the right. Bring both hands to the inside edge of your front foot. Now at this point is where we might want to introduce the blocks underneath our hands. You can also choose not to do that. Some of you will just stay here and shift a little front to back or a little right to left and hang out. Some of you will lower your back knee to the floor. If you need to pat it, by all means, do that. Now, some of you will hang out here and just reach your heart sternum forward and find a nice stretch across the back of your back leg. Some of you will start to draw your heel towards your tuchus and take about 5 little Jane Fonda pumps, seeing that you can find the back glute hamstring engagement. And some of you will, at the end of that, just be like, yep, Jessica, I'm staying here. And you'll just stay here, maybe come up a little higher on your blocks. Some of you will reach your left hand back to grab your left foot. You're going to squeeze your heel and your butt towards each other, and then maybe lighten your right hand to come onto the top of your right thigh, and then walk yourself up. Now, again, we're trying to squeeze heel to glute to find the shape so we can find more of a stretch on the front of our left quad. Awesome sauce. Cool. From here, engage the back of the leg as you release the hands. Hands come back down to the floor. Now, wiggle walk your right foot back to the center of your body. So the right hand will have to go outside of the right foot. Shift your weight back and straighten your right leg long. Now, again, with hands on blocks, you might use them as the opportunity to pull your heart forward. You might peel the sole of your right foot away from the floor and say, hello, hamstring. And you might just breathe here, happy as a clam. You might externally rotate that front leg if you'd like, but just pause and breathe. Cool. Now I'm going to turn just so you can see this. This is a wonky transition that we've not done in a long time. So we are going to see that the right hand is going to have to come to the inside edge of the right foot. And then you're going to flex your foot and open the right leg out to the right. So your right foot is in line with your left knee. Cool. Now, once you're there, put the sole of the foot down on the floor. You can discard the blocks at this point, and you're going to curl your back toes under if they're not already, and find that fun shape we haven't taken in a long time, finding a nice stretch happening on the inner edge of your right leg. Nice work. From here, walk your hands back underneath your shoulders, and then you're going to start to come to stand on top of your left shin for Parigasana gate pose. So again, if you need padding under that left leg, by all means, please use that. Now our right hand is going to come onto the top of our right thigh, and it's almost like we did before where we shifted our hips. You're going to shift your hips to the left as you fan your left arm up and overhead, sliding the right hand down towards the right foot, finding again a nice stretch happening along the left side of your body. Nice work. See if you can draw the right ribs under and left ribs on top. Cool. Next in breath, come up to center. Arms are parallel to the floor. Now left hand is going to come to the floor. Right hand's going to come to the hip. Right foot is going to wiggle walk a little bit closer to you. And then notice if that means you have to walk your left hand out to float your right leg up. And you want to find the spot where maybe you have to draw your right leg back a little bit so you can find your glute muscles there. And you'll maybe stay there in this half moon variation. Maybe you'll bend your top knee, grab your top foot with your top hand, push down into the bottom hand, draw the tailbone to the pubic bone, roll your chest open, and maybe then you'll decide to kick your back foot back and just pause and breathe here in this baby Chapasana shape. Shoulder blades hug together on the back body. Nice work. When you're ready to come out, gently release your foot, float the leg parallel-ish to the floor, lower the leg to the floor, walk your hands forward, and then step your right leg in. Hooray! Now inhale into your cow shape. Exhale back into your downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Yep. And then again, bend your knees in down dog. Straighten your legs in down dog. Lift your heels. Lower your heels. And maybe lift the balls of your feet. Cool. And then inhale, shift your weight forward into plank pose. Lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into your cobra or up dog. And then lower all the way back down. Let's make our way into hands and knees. And then our last time, well, no, we got one more of these. So we're just going to do a bird dog once again. So float your left leg back, draw the front of the body into the back of the body, float your right arm forward, and you just pause and you breathe and you notice how that feels. So we're just doing this essentially to strengthen the muscles that we just taxed. And then gently release and do the other side. And you pause and you breathe. Awesome sauce. Lower the hand, lower the leg. Curl both sets of toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Okay. Now, so let's see. We stepped our right foot back the first time. So let's go ahead and step our right foot a little bit, our left foot a little bit towards the right. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. And then exhale, step the foot between the hands. Awesome sauce. Again, we're going to shift our weight forward and see if we can come into a hovering warrior 3 position. So maybe hands float up and away from the floor. Yep. And then as you're ready, come up to stand, knee to nose, round in, or maybe just come up to stand. Yeah, look at that. Hooray. Lower the foot. Shake things out. Cool. Last thing while we're here, because this will prep us for the next time we're here. Let's go ahead. Oh, we just lifted this leg. Let's lift our right leg. Externally rotate our right leg. Bring your right foot to touch your left calf, left thigh, or left ankle. Again, press the foot and the thigh together, and we'll come to Vrikshasana tree pose. Put your arms wherever the heck you want to, and just notice how this balance is going. Like the more your feet wobble, that's probably good. It's you trying to find your center. And sometimes you can mess with it by intentionally doing that, but we don't always need to do that. And let's release, plant that foot, switch sides, shifting the weight to the right leg, loading the left leg up, externally rotating the left leg, and bringing left foot to touch maybe right thigh, calf, or ankle. Yeah, and then put your arms wherever you want. Nice work, guys or gals. And then when we're ready, gently release that, plant the foot down. Cool. Last set, last side. Standing at top of space. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees. Straighten your legs. Lift your heels. Lower your heels. Lift the balls of your feet. Lower the balls of your feet. Shift your weight over to your left leg. Lift your spine parallel-ish to the floor and then float your right leg parallel-ish to the floor. Okay, now we're going to see if we can make our fingertips a little bit lighter. And then you're going to start to bend into your supporting leg as you reach your toes back and slowly come up to high crescent lunge. Yeah, nice work. And then you just pause and you breathe and you notice how this feels. Finding that sometimes we have to let go in order to actually regain our sense of control because it requires that we have a sense of trust, which is actually more important than control. Arms reach out and down, they come to the floor. Again, we're going to wiggle walk our left foot to the left. This might be the opportune moment to bring your hands onto your blocks. And then again, you might stay here and you might just shift a little right to left. That might feel super nice. You can turn that left toe out a little bit and feel how that feels. You might engage your right butt cheek and just shift a little forward and back and just feel how that feels. You might be like, yeah, Jessica, I'm gonna stay here. Some of you might lower your back knee down to the mat. And again, you might just stay here, pulling your heart forward and through, finding a nice stretch across the front of your right quad. You might decide to bend your right knee and then see if you can engage your butt cheek or hamstring to draw your heel closer to your butt for 5 little pulses. Woohoo. Oh yeah, that's fun. Okay. You might choose to stay with that. You might think of swimming your right arm back, grabbing your right foot, pushing down into your left foot, maybe walking your left hand up to the left thigh. And again, you're trying to squeeze the back of the leg to draw the heel to the glute. Tailbone down, heart lifts. Nice. When you're ready, again, release the hand, but keep the engagement on the back of the leg. Hands come back to the blocks, lower the foot down, shift your weight back, and straighten your front leg long. And again, you can play with this. Walk the blocks back so it feels like you can reach your heart forward and through. You might notice what it feels like to pull all 5 toes back towards you so the sole of your foot comes off the floor. You might externally rotate that front leg so your toes now point out to the left. Just pause and breathe and notice how that feels in your body, where we can allow just a sense of not needing to know what's coming next, to trust that everything is okay. All right. And then let's go ahead and come to stillness if you're in movement. Bring both hands onto the inside edge of your left leg. And then you're going to fan your left leg out to the left until your left foot is in line with your right knee. Toes are pointing forward. Hands will then come down onto the mat, and you might walk your hands forward about a whole foot apart, a whole foot forward as you shift your weight back and find a nice stretch happening on the inside edge of your left leg as you press your left pinky toe down. Nice work. When you're ready to come out, you walk your hands underneath your shoulders. You start to push down into your supporting leg and your left foot and walk your spine up to vertical. And again, if you need to pad right knee, you do. Left hand comes to the top of left thigh. It's as though we're shifting our whole pelvis to the right. Fan your right arm up and overhead and take a little happy baby side bend in Parigasana, gate pose. Notice that if you push just a little bit with your left hand against your left shin, you can rotate your left ribs under. But again, you don't need to control all of it. You're ready to come up. Come up. Lower your right hand to the floor. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Maybe walk your right hand forward a little bit as you inchworm your left leg closer, and then float your left leg up. Draw your left leg back just a little bit so you can feel your glute muscles. And if you can't, just take your hand back there and touch that. And then maybe float your arm up, and you're happy to stay here in this half moon variation, or maybe you bend the top knee, reach around with the top hand, draw the heel to the glute, just like we did before, push down into your right hand, draw your tailbone to your left knee, roll your rib cage under, and then maybe you kick your top foot back, and you just find this nice opening here in baby Triposana. Awesome sauce. Make sure you're breathing. When you're ready to come out, gently release the leg. Float the left leg parallel-ish to the floor. Lower the left foot down to the floor. Crawl your hands back to center. And then step your left leg in to meet your right. Inhale into your cow-shaped pose, and then exhale back to downward facing dog. Once you find yourself in your down dog, again, you'll bend your knees, straighten your legs, lift your heels, lower your heels, and then see if you can lift your toes, and then lower your toes. And then inhale, roll forward into plank pose. Press forward through chaturanga. And this time come into the highest cobra up dog that feels appropriate for you, and just take a few breath cycles there. And then lower all the way down to the floor. And then come back up to hands and knees. And the slowest cats and cows you've ever taken in your life. Again, engaging the front of the body and the back of the body evenly so that you can engage the muscle groups to help the spine open as well as feel supported. And you've got about 3 sets of those. Awesome. After your last set, we'll go ahead and inhale and come forward into that cow shape. Curl both sets of toes under, lift your pelvis up and back. Downward facing dog. Now this time you'll step your right foot in a little bit to the left. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. And then exhale, step your left foot quietly between your hands. Now, just as we did before, you'll shift your weight forward into a hovering warrior 3 pose. So maybe hands are still floating, just fingertips above the floor. Right leg reaches back. And when you're ready, come up to stand, knee to nose roll up, or just simply draw that leg in front of you. Wah! Yeah! Cool. Fantastic. Lower down. Soften the gaze. Close the eyes and just check in and notice how you feel. Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and open our eyes. Roberta, can you use that door next to you, or okay, Barbara, can you go to a door? And Jenny, maybe that counter behind you. We're gonna do a figure 4 stretch, but I want you to be able to hold on to something. So we'll shift our weight into our right leg. You'll float your left leg up, cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. And if you have a wall or something that you can hold on to, You can really control, the whole thing's about controlling or letting go of control, but you can direct how much energy is going to that outer hip because you can use the wall for support and then lift or lower that left knee as you push your pelvis away from you and bend your right knee to find a nice, fun stretch on that outer left hip. And then notice how it feels to either round the spine or try to find more of a long spine. Yep. And then when you're ready, gently come out of that. Do we find something? Yeah, okay. Then we'll try it all on the other side. So shift your weight to your left leg, cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh, bend your knees. And that wall is there really like sometimes I like to feel like I'm pulling the wall towards me as I'm pushing it away because it gives me more ability to direct what's happening in that outer hip of the externally rotated leg. And you just pause and you breathe. Yep. And then when you're ready to come out, you come out. How'd that go for our outer hips? Do your butts feel better? Okay. Now we'll come back to the top of our space and you're going to lie down. Make sure your heads are towards the top of your space camera, feet are the other direction. And the first thing that you're going to do is just lie flat and see what the heck you feel like. How does the spine feel? Oh, yeah, that's a good call, Jenny. We are going towards the closing. So, Roberta, if you want to cover up, now might be a good time to put on something. And when you find yourself on your back, just take a moment to notice what you notice. How does the body feel? We're going to end with a support or with a twist, but it's the twist of your choice. Like some of you might want that IT band stretch twist. Some of you might just want to feel like both of your legs are stacked on top of each other and you can unwind through the upper spine, but you're going to choose based upon what works for you. So take whatever twist will feel nice to you, and we're going to hold it for a couple of breaths. So find the twist that's going to work for you. And I want you to just notice how you can allow the breath to naturally start to unfold. Like the shape is such that it will naturally require that you let go. And the more you let go, the better it feels. And I'm sure that that's probably like a giant metaphor for life. The more you let go, the better you feel. Um, Honestly makes me think of the beans joke, but never mind. And so you just pause and you breathe, and you've got 3 more breath cycles here. And just notice where you can continue to expand your breath, where you can continue to allow things to just flourish on their own. I think a lot of us spend a lot of time trying to get good at something because we believe that it will enable us to have the sense of freedom that we're hoping to have. But at some point in time, if we become too rigid in that, it becomes a prison. It becomes something that keeps us not free, not open to change, not open to come with the ups and downs of life. All right, on your next in breath, come back to center. And then as you exhale, go to the other side. And you just pause and you breathe. And just allow yourself to melt into the shape. Where do you need breath on this side? Where do you need openness on this side? Where is there maybe just a lot of breath? Or is there a lot of openness? So we pay attention to both and we try to allow them both to just be as they are. And we've got about 5 more breath cycles here. So again, continuing to explore how you can really allow things to unfold, allow them to unwind, allow them to be. And then when you're ready, gently come back to center. From here, let's go ahead And first, draw our feet together completely. And then I want you to grab one of your blocks. Sorry, so that was not a good cue. Put the soles of your feet together, or put the soles of your feet on the floor. Keep your feet together. Put a block in between your thighs on its widest setting. Widest setting. There we go. And I want you to press down into the soles of your feet and then hug into your block. And we're going to go about 20% of our capacity. And you want to make sure that you're pressing evenly on the right thigh and the left thigh. This is just to make sure we did a lot of asymmetrical poses. This is just to try to make sure our sacrum is happy with us. So go ahead and release, relax. And then you'll do that 2 more times. So just squeeze into the block at about 20% of your capacity. Make sure right side and left side are trying to participate equally. It's not always the case, but just notice. And go ahead and release. And then 3rd time's the charm. Go ahead and squeeze in about 20% of your capacity. Soles of the feet are still pressing into the floor. And go ahead and release. Now remove that block. Draw your feet hip distance apart. And then just notice if you can take some pelvic nutations there. How do the thigh bones, your femurs, really rest into the back of your hip sockets? How does that feel into your sacrum, your low back? Maybe by arching and rounding the low spine, the tailbone, coccyx region, you can find neutral. And then once you feel complete there, we're going to take Supta Baddha Konasana to complete. So soles of the feet together, knees open and splayed like a book. Like we did last time, you might choose to put them on their beveled edge. So more of the block is supporting more of the fleshy part of your skin. You might choose to have the block completely flush to the floor. That's totally fine. Just choose what allows your flesh to melt into the block without feeling like you're in pain or in discomfort. And then once you've got that sorted with your legs and your blocks, notice where you want your hands. Do you want your hands on the body? Do you want the arms off the body? Do you need to wrap the shoulder blades underneath you so the heart lifts up? Do you need to maybe lift the head and draw the chin towards the sternum so the back of the neck feels long? And then once you've got that sorted, you might just take a few deep breaths in and a few breaths out, allowing yourself to just let go. I think it's funny that in the podcast, or not the podcast, but the movie Inside Out, one of the things that they didn't talk about um, was the idea that I think that it's easier for one to not need to control things when they feel supported. Um, Scholar Martha Beck talks about anxiety as being like this thing where we think that if we can make our world smaller, we'll be safer, but the making of it smaller actually makes us less safe. And I think the two connect in the sense of like when we feel supported, when we have a big enough sense of support, it's easy to let go. It's easy to go with the flow. And so maybe as you're here for these last few breaths, can we invite the sense of trust that there are all these people and things and situations that are supporting us, even when we don't necessarily see them. They're there all along. We just have to allow ourselves to trust enough to become aware to their presence. So, as you're here for these last few moments and last few breaths with yourself, I invite you to notice the support you're receiving right now from the blocks, from the floor underneath you, from the gentle press of gravity, how it moves the breath, the stomach, the diaphragm. And as you're there, just allow yourself to then become more aware of the support, like maybe the things that brought the clothes into your life, the circumstances or events that brought the room that you're in into being. circumstances or events that allow us to connect over time and space. And I'll just leave you here with you for the next few moments, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. You turn your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to check in. If there's any part of you longing to linger in this shape, by all means, please stay here. When you are ready to come out, allow movement to enter into your fingers, Then bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs and close your knees together like a book. And then wiggle and yawn and stretch in any way that feels good to you. Again, those in stillness stay as long as you'd like. Those in movement, start to make your way to one of your sides and just pause for a few breaths. From your side, you'll roll your chest more towards the floor. Press into your top hand to walk your spine up to vertical. Then, when you are vertical, I would encourage you to sit well. So, you elevate your bum on a block or a blanket. You remove any flesh from underneath your shoulder, your sit bones. If you circle the shoulders, maybe even opening and closing your jaw a few times. And then with the gaze either still soft or closed completely, just notice what it feels like to draw the bottom tips of your shoulder blades over the top of your pelvis, to draw your ears over your shoulders, to release the hands where it feels like your heart space can stay open and you don't have to hold your hands in any way. And then we'll just take 3 complete breaths here. And just check in and notice what you are feeling in this moment. Notice any of the sounds in your environment. Great. So, a lot of times, if we can allow ourselves to come back to the present moment, to what we can feel, what we can taste, what we can smell, what we can see, what we can hear, it allows us to get out of the mind games that we sometimes can get caught up into, where we're worrying about things that have yet to happen. And I think that when we're able to come back to this present moment, back to our senses in particular, it allows us to have that sense of balance, to have that sense of play that at least I feel like I'm looking for, and I think most of us may be doing as well. So we'll complete our practice with a collective breath and a collective Om. Go ahead and guide your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Really root the hands into each other. Connect the thumbs to the sternum and the sternum to the thumbs, and then see if you can elongate the back of the neck so your chin will drop down just a bit. Exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. Draw your thumbs to your third eye. May our thoughts be clear. Draw your thumbs to your lips. May our words be kind. And draw your thumbs to your heart center. May our hearts be open. That light, that breath, that openness within me honors and salutes the light, the breath, and the openness within each of you. Namaste.